Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop. All the news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's the host.
Good evening. I'm Catherine Reed, filling in tonight for Bettina Lawton here on Inside Scoop, Virginia. My guests this evening in our second segment are from the Martin Luther King Jr. Cultural Foundation. And joining me is Mary Ann Hovis, who is chair of the events committee, and Rodney Scott, who is chair of the scholarship committee, and both of them are on the board of directors of the Martin Luther King Jr. Cultural Foundation. So scholarships, very big thing right now because a lot of college seniors are looking for how they're going to pay for all those acceptance letters for the colleges that they hope to get into. And so there is an event this week. It's on Thursday, April the 17th. And I will let Mary Ann tell you a little bit about the history of the foundation and how they came to be so involved in the scholarship program.
Well, I'll give part of that to Rodney because he knows more about the history. He was there before I was, actually. But the foundation was started by a group of people in Reston who felt that, that they should give more to the community. The board is a all-volunteer board. We now expand throughout all of Northern Virginia, and we have several events a year. This event we refer to as our Dreammaker event. For two reasons. We are honoring people who are living and making the dream come true, and we are giving scholarships to young people who are involved and can continue the dream. And I'll let you talk about the scholarship.
The scholarship program started in 1999. We gave 2 scholarships to students at South Lakes High School. And I was involved at that point and have been since that time. Then we went to, I think, to 5 students after that, and then we have grown to 15 students this year. They are $2,000 scholarships for the first year and $2,000 the second year. The second year involves an application, which is no more than just having your grades sent to me. And if you have done well, then the application goes in, and the second $2,000 is paid to you in your sophomore year. But over the years, over those 16 years since 1999, we have met and paid something in the neighborhood of about $300,000 in scholarships to young people, students who have gone to every kind of school that you can think of. The Manhattan School of Music, Brown University, Northern Virginia Community College, which is one of my favorite schools, Stanford University, Louisiana State University, Hampton University, Howard University, any number of universities all over the country. We have
so tell us a little bit about what is the profile of a student who applies for scholarship? I mean, who are these students who apply?
The students who apply are students of all races and creeds from all over the area. And as Mary Ann said, we have just taken in the Northern Virginia area completely, well, not completely. We are doing Arlington County, Alexandria, Fairfax, Prince William,
Loudoun. That's far sweeping, Prince William and Loudoun as well.
Absolutely, and we are getting somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 some odd applications each year, and this was just the first year. So it's maybe just a tad bit slow for this year, but it is the first year. But the average student has somewhere in the neighborhood of a 2.5 to a 4.0 grade point average. They have done tremendous work as far as their work as community service work in the schools and in the community, and we ask for verification on that. The students have done well as far as their grades are concerned, and we ask for a written essay about what are you going to do to help others in the future? What would you do with a earned college degree? How are you going to help somebody else? To follow what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was asking, you need to give back to your community. So we are asking those students to do that very same thing. Tell us what you're going to do, and that helps you qualify for the money.
One of the things that I love is in honoring the people that you're honoring, and I'll ask you to tell us a little bit about this year's honorees. These are people who embody the beliefs of Martin Luther King Jr. and everything that he stood for, and clearly it represents role models for these scholarship recipients every year to see the people you hope they become.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think it makes a great impression on our students, and they will all be there Thursday night to receive their scholarships and to be honored. Our Dream Makers are, and the reason we call it our Dream Maker Award, we believe these are people who've helped perpetuate the dream. And we are honoring 3 people this Thursday night. The first is Bernie Cohen.
Love that man.
Bernie is 80 years old now. He was the attorney. He did it for free for in the case of Loving versus Virginia. He won it in the Supreme Court in 1967, and many people don't realize that it hasn't been that long ago where interracial marriage was illegal.
Yeah.
And they showed up at these folks' home in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock in the morning and drug them out of bed and arrested them. It took several years. Bernie won it, and not only overturned that law in Virginia, but the rest of the country. By that time, there were 16 states that had a law so he's made an impact on a lot of people's dreams.
Oh, and
lives.
it has continued because the judge, Arinda Allen Wright, who made a determination about the marriage ban amendment here in Virginia, referred to Loving versus Virginia, and said this was not right for this group. This is not right here.
And it's not right for any group.
So yeah, it's echoing even today.
He's made a long-term impression. The second one is Dr. Ralph Northam. He is the new Lieutenant Governor of Virginia, but he's being honored here for his work with children. He is a pediatric neurologist, and he, on a volunteer basis, works at the Children's Hospice and is chair of the board of the Children's Hospice in that area. So he's being honored for his work with children. The third is Reverend Richard Smallwood. Most people don't call him Reverend. Most people who know him as a Grammy Award-winning gospel singer. He's, I don't know, had how many Grammy Award-winning records and won every sort of honor that you could, and is in the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. But he started, his mother was quite active with foster children in the DC area. And he started a foundation in her honor to continue that work with education and helping foster children in all walks of their life. And so we're honoring him for that. So he's honoring his mother, we're honoring him.
That is always a great group of people. I love your Dream Makers. I remember the year that Hank Aaron came.
Yes.
Goodness me. That was, I don't know if that broke attendance records, but there were a lot of people there that year. But these truly are the kind of people you hope these scholarship award winners become.
Yes, because he not only broke baseball records, he also he didn't take his money and run. He's been working ever since to help students and help children and help others get their education.
And that is, there is an emphasis on community service now in high schools, and so students are raised in a very different way than I was in the when I went to school in the 60s and 70s about the importance of community service. But I think with the scholarship program, what you're doing is helping them to understand that this is a long-term investment.
Absolutely.
That's what you're looking for in their essays. Who reads your essays? I mean, how do you decide who gets the scholarship?
We have a group of people that I guess about 8 people, they happen to be ladies, who read the scholarships and make an evaluation. And it's one of the toughest jobs that exist in the whole foundation as far as I'm concerned. I separate all of the applications. My wife helped me this year because I had an eye surgery, and she wouldn't let me do anything. So we separate all the applications and we get them to the readers, and they go through those applications and with a fine-tooth comb and read those applications and then concentrate on the essays to determine who will be the winners. And in many cases, in most cases, the evaluators come back and say, well, this person says that they will be able to give back and it may be a giving back in America, or it may be giving back to maybe something that they grew up with in their own country, because we have so many students who come from other places and so many families that come from other places, which it kind of touches on the pathway program that we touch through NOVA.
Right.
And a lot of those students are maybe very new to America, and they see needs in their country, and they are bound and determined to be able to help in those areas. And so we are bound and determined to give them the money so that they can do that.
So one of the more interesting parts of your scholarship program is that you offer money in the second year. Now there's, I got scholarships my senior year in high school, and I ended up transferring schools in my sophomore year because there was no more money. There was no more scholarship money. And it's very tough. Believe me, I more than anyone understand how hard it is to get scholarship money. I went away to school in Boston and then discover, wow, there is no way I can have a work-study job that's ever going to make up for the difference. So you're offering them a second year.
We're offering them a second year, and that's even if they decide to attend another school in that second year. If they are in school, if they have done well that first year and they are enrolled in that next year's schooling at another place, then the money will follow. All we need to know is that they are doing well.
We also assign them a mentor.
Absolutely.
Our board members are mentors. Some members of the community who have volunteered to be mentors are mentors. And the mentors, in some cases it's a very close relationship, in some cases it's checking in on a regular basis with one another, because some students are more independent
than others. It's a personality thing.
And it's a personality thing. But knowing that it's necessary to at least check in with your mentor and let them know how your grades are doing in order to get that second year is a bit of an incentive. But we've found that many of the students and their families, and particularly some of these students you're talking about, are really happy to have someone to touch base with. And the mentor, can do everything to take them to lunch or take them to school, or just keep in touch with them and make sure that they are doing well. And almost more importantly, if they have a problem, they know they've got someone to turn to.
And I think a mentor-mentee relationship, that's exactly what it's designed to do, because a lot of times for your students from families that are newer to America, the parents can't really help. They don't know the right person to contact, the right question to ask. It's a matter of understanding how the system works, and that's really truly what mentors are there to do, provide information you cannot get from a source like your family. And so I think it's great that you offer that, because again, I don't know of any scholarship programs that have a mentor that go along with your scholarship.
Right.
And I can think that would probably be one of the most important things that you have to offer.
Absolutely. Some of the problems that the students are running into is exactly what you talked about, leaving one school and going to another, and we don't know it. Well, you need to let us know.
You need to have somebody to keep in touch with.
And that mentor steps in and helps us with that.
That's great. When we come back, we're going to delve a little bit more into the specifics of the program. And I want to hear more about the gala that we're going to have on Thursday and who's going to be there. So please stay tuned, come back and join us and find out more about the Martin Luther King Jr. Cultural Foundation 2014 Dreammakers Award Gala. Back, I'm Catherine Reed. I'm filling in for Bettina Lawton here on Inside Scoop, Virginia. My guests tonight are Marianne Hovis, who is the events chair for the Martin Luther King Jr. Cultural Foundation, and to her left is Rodney Scott, who is the scholarship chair. Both of them are on the board of directors of this foundation, and they were telling us before the break about how the scholarship program has been in place since 1999. They have helped numerous college off to college students, and to the tune of about $300,000. And so before our break, we were talking about the kind of students that the foundation's looking for, and how community service, a commitment to giving back, is a very important part of this. And you were talking about how hard it is to read these essays, but what interests me a lot too is that these students are not necessarily competing on grades.
No, not necessarily on grades alone. We're talking about grades plus service to the community and service in your school. What have you done in order to help another person, to maybe be a tutor in your school. Maybe you have done something at one of the universities, maybe to help another, to gain a tutoring situation, or to maybe assist another student there. Or maybe in high school or elementary school. Or maybe you've become an Eagle Scout and you're helping other Scout troops with your skills and what you're working at. So there are many, many ways that they can give back to their community, other than just just doing something.
It's interesting because there was an article in the New York Times yesterday. It was an op-ed piece by Adam Grant on raising a moral child, and how difficult it is to raise a moral child in a culture that emphasizes achievement. And so this scholarship, it's not that you don't expect these students to achieve, but to Adam Grant's point, you have to look at people's character and raising a person of a whole piece of cloth, which is not just smarts, and it's not just success is defined by very narrow limits, but you're really talking here about someone who has good grades and a lot of ambition, who wants to go to college, but somehow they've distinguished themselves by demonstrating a commitment here and a willingness to give back long term. How do you determine on the part where, you know, they'll get out of college and uphold that commitment that they've expressed they have? How do you have a feel for that when you read these applications? One
way we do is looking at the students' recommendations that are given from individuals, might be teachers or people in the community. In one case, we have a young man who will be the speaker on Thursday evening, and his elementary teacher wrote the recommendation for him. Wrote one recommendation for him.
But still, your elementary school teacher.
Your elementary school, and he had the highest recommendations for this young man, and he talked about his character and how well he performed in elementary school, middle school, and high school. He has kept track of this young man, and they have talked back and forth, and the young man has just been exemplary in everything that he's done. So when you start talking character, you can't get much better than that written word that person who's written that recommendation comes back to you after 6 years or so.
That's
and
impressive.
Says, you know, I'll say something very, very good about this young man. And I mean, as it turns out, as the speaker for the students this year, he is one heck of a young man, bound for Stanford University in engineering. Wow. And Mary Ann was saying earlier that Stanford did not select a lot of students this year. And
I just heard on the national news that Stanford actually had the lowest acceptance rate of any.
Yeah, I just heard same thing on the news today.
But we also have, in addition to this student, the student getting the scholarship this year speaking, we like to get our students from previous years involved. And this year, the invocation will be given by a young lady who got the scholarship in 2003 and is now an assistant pastor at a church in Bethesda, Maryland.
Wow, that's impressive.
So she will do that. In the entertainment, we always have this wonderful jazz band that is Janie Gilbert Carter, who is always there and terrific. People love her. But we have a student who is a senior at VCU who got our scholarship 4 years ago, and he will be coming back and playing with the band. He's majoring in music and has his own band and is coming back to play with the band.
And isn't that great to have that ongoing relationship with your previous scholarship winners?
Absolutely.
Again, I don't know of any other organization that I have experience with that collects a community on an ongoing basis, because I do think when we start to talk about issues of character, which is I think new in a scholarship program, maybe not, but the fact that you expect these young people to come back and model for the upcoming scholarship award winners, more recent than your dream makers being honored. It's kind of like these people are a little bit ahead of you, but this is what they've achieved and this is what they're doing.
And this is what we expect.
And this is what, setting expectations is very important.
I think that is most important. If you set an expectation and the student meets it, I think they'll continue to meet it. We haven't had very many students who have failed at meeting that expectation because it's set. It's something that we are expecting.
So speaking of our students, you were mentioning during the break too that there are tickets left for Thursday.
There are. We have a few tickets left. You can go onto our website. It's mlkculturalfoundation.org. If you go on mlkculturalfoundation.org/event, it'll take you right to the page to buy a ticket. If you can't come and you would like to buy a ticket for one of the students, because we have invited a student and one of their parents, we'd like to have both, but we have to get what we can afford. And so if you'd like to purchase one of those tickets, you can do that online also. And we would really appreciate that donation.
Is there a designation for that on the website? If somebody wants to buy a ticket, like
Yes,
I can't come.
There is. But I would like to purchase this ticket to support a student. Mm-hmm.
That would be terrific, because wouldn't it be nice if both parents could come with their students?
Yes. And the first tickets go to the student, and the second goes to one parent, and then if we have some left over, we'll go back to the students and see if they have another parent who would like to come. So if you want to support the students.
So I look at this, I say no excuses. It's kind of like, oh, I can't come Thursday. I'm like,
but come if you can, because it's a wonderful night.
I will be there.
You'll leave feeling better.
Oh, you absolutely will. I have loved it every year. I take pictures of the students every year. I love it every year. And it does make you recognize the fact that with ambition, and I think that's part of this too. Mm-hmm. I mean, these kids want it badly enough to go through the whole process and to put themselves out there. And again, some of these kids come from families where maybe they're the first person in their family to go to college.
We have a couple this year who are, I believe. The other thing I want to emphasize is it's important to these, not only the money, which is obviously very important, but to get a scholarship that is named after Dr. Martin Luther King is meaningful. It's meaningful in that they understand what that means. And particularly this last couple of years when we've been talking about Dr. King and talking about the things he's done, I think it makes it very meaningful to the students and to their families to know that they got a scholarship named for him.
Oh, I would agree with that too. And so tell me where you find your mentors. And you said some of them are board members, but let's say somebody's like, this sounds like something I would like to do. How would somebody be a mentor to these students?
Contact us. Our vice president of our Adele Jones handles our mentor program. If you contact us, she'll contact you, find out what your interests are, and we'll line them up as a mentor to one of our students if it works. And so contact us. We can always choose. I want to emphasize one other thing. Our board, we have no paid employees. We are all volunteer
organization.
Our board is a working board.
It's tough.
Absolutely.
Trust me,
It's tough.
Rodney and I have been working a lot this last few weeks. It's a working board. And and we also have a membership program, and many of our members are mentors. And it costs all of $50 to become a member, and then you get all of our information. And many of our members, we give them the opportunity to be mentors if they would like to.
And that brings us to another point, because I'm a member of the Cultural Foundation, and you've got other events throughout the year too. So this is the one that's most imminent because it's this week. But you also throughout the year you have two other big ones.
Right. In the fall, we do our Outstanding Educator Award. We honor the people who with the dream and the students here, and the person in the middle of that are the educators. And by educators, we don't necessarily mean teachers or people in the education system, although many of them are. But many of them aren't. Many of them are companies who have taken on schools and helped, or fraternities who've done that, or other groups, or people who have, people who've done things to help over and above their jobs to help the children in our community and in their education. So that's in the fall. We have a lunch, and we honor our outstanding educators. We also accept applications for that. If you want to nominate someone, get in touch with us. Again, you can go, our website's going to be under construction right after this, so it'll be down for a little bit, but Hewlett-Packard, who is one of our major supporters,
yes, I remember that.
They are redesigning our website for us and putting it back up. Yay. So.
That has to be done periodically. It's just one of those things.
It'll look better. It got hacked very badly this year. And so they're taking it over. They're going to fix it all for us, and we're going to look better by the summer. So if you want to nominate, the form will be on the website, and you can nominate someone. And then in January, we have our diversity event. This is a by invitation event. All of our members are invited. Last year, we had Dr. Ransamy, who was at Northern Virginia Community College in Manassas, give a wonderful, with avatars and all sorts of wonderful things. And then we had one of the, I think it's 5 now, remaining Tuskegee Airmen who was actually a pilot in World War II. He came up from Florida. He was just intriguing.
He was
intriguing. So that's a by invitation. That's to celebrate the diversity of our community.
That's fantastic. Well, let me just circle back one more time before we wrap up to find out you've gotten your scholarship award winners for this year, but already looking toward next year. How do students find, we've got viewers out here saying this sounds like a wonderful organization and a wonderful scholarship program. How do I apply for this thinking about next year?
Hopefully next year we'll be able to go to the website and the application will be online, and hopefully complete everything online and send the application in to me completely electronically. Wow. And then electronically I'll send it to the readers from there. We've been handling a lot of paper for the past several years, and this year I thought we were going to make the change, but as Marianne said, the site was hacked and we had some other issues that went on. But this year we're hoping fully that we can go online and make it a fillable form right there online, and then everything goes from there. The students may have to have maybe recommendations sent paper-wise, but other than that, we will handle it from there. And all students need to do is go to that same website, www.mlkculturalfoundation.org, look for the scholarship information and fill out the information online. That's our hope.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
well,
they're going to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, just remember, this Thursday, there's still tickets left. Buy a ticket for yourself, buy a ticket for a scholarship recipient.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight, I'm filling in for Bettina Lawton, who will be back in her regularly scheduled slot very soon. Thank you so much for joining us.